Peeps, we are back. We are talking Love After Lockup Season 4, Episode 10, which is the season finale. Hey, before we get into the video, please do me the honors of subscribing to my channel, hitting the notification bell so you can always be notified when I post new content, hitting the thumbs up because that does wonders for my channel, and share. Thanks. Indy and Harry. So the show starts off with Yolanda driving back to Lydia's house, and she gets a call from Indy, and Indy absolutely has an attitude because Harry has reached out to her and told her about her mom throwing him out of the car. And Yolanda says, well, I guess you heard your spiritual husband got kicked out of the car. And it's so funny because next thing you know, we see her walking into Lydia's house and she's complaining about how cold it is. And I laughed. I said, she's complaining about how cold it is, and she left Harry out on the side of the road. So Indy is annoyed. She says that Harry is upset with the wrong person. And I don't think that she should even give a damn. She really shouldn't. Her mom says, you know, it's time for you to come home. And she says, well, I don't really know what to do. She feels like she's abandoning him. He had no problem abandoning you for Terry. So why should you care? You and your daughter are at Lydia's house, and you are not even truly dating her brother anymore. You should want to go home. Her mom says, you know, what are you going to do? Just stay here and keep letting Harry humiliate you? She said, you need to come home so we could have this spiritual divorce party. The very next day, we see Indy packing her things to go home. And when she tells her daughter that they're going home, her daughter says, finally. Now this is crazy. She's 5 years old and she knows that this was a stupid decision and that you guys should have been gone home. This is crazy. I was so happy for her daughter. She looked so happy to be going home. Indy was calling Harry to let him know that she was leaving, but he was ignoring her calls. And of course he was. I'm sure at the time when she was first calling him, he was probably right next to Terry and couldn't take her phone calls. Finally, when Harry answers her phone calls, he tells her that he'll come over. He says that he doesn't really want her to leave. And then he tries to blame her mom for their relationship, but her mom has absolutely nothing to do with this relationship. This really wasn't even a relationship to begin with. Harry did not care about this woman. Harry is an absolute jackass. And Indy making the comment that it's pretty much Terry's fault for the demise of their relationship does not work for me. It is not Terry's fault. You were dating Harry, not Terry. And if he had never started having a relationship with her, you guys would have most likely still had problems. You have to blame Harry and blame yourself. You hold a lot of responsibility in the demise of this relationship. You should have never been in this relationship. You should have never listened to that psychic. You should have never packed your child up, quit your job, and left your apartment for somebody that you don't really know outside of prison. That was a bad mistake on your part. But I was really happy to see her get in her car and go. Harry is exactly like her mom said. He went into jail at the age of 17. He came out of jail at the age of 24 with the mentality of someone who is 17. Indy is 29 years old, but she is still thinking like a 17-year-old herself. I know that she is sad that the fairy tale did not work out. There are a lot of women who go through the sadness of realizing their relationships are not what they thought they were going to be. But we just have to pick ourselves up and move on. We can't sit around waiting for some guy to realize that we are the gift. And same thing for the man. A man can't sit around waiting for a woman to realize what she has in him either. Then we see Harry deep frying eggs. Now, I don't know what you like to eat, but I don't like deep fried broken eggs. I don't understand that. He was in there deep frying eggs and stirring a nice one of them copper pots with a fork. Hey, you're tearing up the bottom of that woman's pots. I mean, Lord have mercy. I wouldn't want him making me a damn thing. So it turns out that I guess he's living with Terry now, and he says Terry is his piece. And, you know, there's differences between Terry and Indy. You know, Terry was asking him to get a job and be responsible the same way Indy was asking him to get a job and be responsible. The only thing is Terry has her own place, and Terry was an absolute fool to lose her job for Harry. Okay, Harry attracts idiots because he's also an idiot. This whole time he's talking about his love for Terry and how Terry is so awesome. As soon as the woman jumps in the shower, he calls Indy, talking about how he loves Indy, but he's also loving Terry. He's got enough love, I guess, to go around. I said, boy, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. My problem is when he called Indy, he got a ring. She was holding her phone, watching him call her, but she didn't accept the call. Personally, I think he should be blocked. He shouldn't get a ring. You know, go on somewhere, Harry. At the end, we find out that Indy is still accepting advice from Anaris and that she has started talking to Harry again. Listen, was anybody surprised that she's back to talking to Harry again? I know that I absolutely was not. Not shocked in the least. I did feel bad for her when she looked like she was about to cry and she says, "It's like my spiritual husband is spiritually gone." Girl, yeah, he gone. He was never there in the first place. Taylor and Chance. Chance has been out of jail for about a month now, and he is planning this special day for Taylor and the girls because he's going to ask Taylor to marry him. And I'm still saying to myself, I cannot believe this woman allowed this convict to move into her house with her 3 little girls. And I am still wondering, where are the grandparents to these little girls? Somebody has got to come and save these girls from this man. He makes this comment on how he picked Taylor. He could have just been a bachelor living a single fancy-free life. And no, you couldn't, because if you had, you would have no job and nowhere to stay. She's the one who let you live with her, and she helped you get that job. Boy, bye. You was going to be a bachelor living where? At the halfway house? Like he had options. So him and her go pick her daughters up from school early. It looks like it's pretty cold outside, and the little girls don't seem to be dressed for the weather. But then he takes them to a horse and buggy ride. Listen, I think the oldest daughter does not like Chance at all. I think her name is Sophie or Sophia. She said that no one cares while they were riding. She wanted to go to some kind of fidget store. She wanted them to hurry up. She was cold. She didn't want to wear one of the little tiaras that he got for the girls. She was just not here for it. She was not here for Chance. I was not here for Chance giving the small girls hot cocoa. The cocoa was so hot, 2 of the little girls burnt their mouth. The smallest one was crying because her mouth was burning so much. That was just dumb, okay? Parenting 101. You don't give scalding hot drinks to children. Just a mess. Well, he goes ahead and he makes these little signs, "Will you marry me?" And he asked the girls to hold them. The girls were not in the mood. They were all saying how cold they were. They were sitting there shivering. She finally turns around and sees him.
Will you marry me?
No. Of course I will.
I was hoping that when she said no, she meant it, but of course not. She said yes, she was going to marry Chance. So I guess they're planning their wedding, and Chance is still hoping that he can get Bobby to move out into the garage. I am hoping that Bobby can get Chance to move out to a shelter. I am tired of him. I am tired of this relationship, but I'm pretty sure life after lockup, they will be one of the couples. Rick and Raydeen. Raydeen is at her house talking to her stepmother, who's more like a mom to her. She tells her mom that her and Rick are not compatible. Her mom says that Rick is good for her, and what makes her so sure that her and Rick cannot work out? She lets her mom know that her and Kay got married by proxy back in October before Rick picked her up from her furlough for Thanksgiving. And her mom says, well, what? How does that work? And she explains that she left the halfway house, went to the courthouse, got the paperwork, signed it, sent it to the prison. Kay signed it, had it notarized, and now they are officially married. And her mom says, so you have been married to her all this time and you never told us and you never told Rick. And she tells her that she has to tell him. And she says, well, he's going to say that I was using him and I never asked for anything. And her mom says, you didn't ask for anything, but you didn't stop it either. You continued to take things from him. Her mom and dad both seem to have morals. Her dad told her a couple episodes ago, don't use that man. If you don't love him, set him free. Her mom told her pretty much the same thing, but her mom also said that she thinks that Rick is good for her, that Rick has always been supportive of her and supportive of her sobriety and always there to take care of her and listen to her. And she is pretty ticked off that she has gone out and got married to Kay and didn't mention it to the family at all. Mostly she was sad by it. She actually looked like she was starting to cry about her actually marrying someone without mentioning it to them. But she did tell her, without mixing words, that she needed to tell Rick the truth. She does meet up with Rick. They went to a hookah lounge and she finally tells him the truth.
I'm married. I'm married to Kay.
Wow.
I'm not what you deserve at all.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Listen, you can never convince me that Radine and Kay were not using Rick this whole time. And does anybody else think that Radine may have relapsed and is on something? Because doesn't she look different than she did a few episodes back? She looks a little frail. I also did not appreciate the comment that she made that Rick will always be her backup plan, that he's really not going to stay away from her, that she will wait for a lifetime for Kay, but she will always have Rick as her fallback. That to me is disgusting, and that really triggered me because, you know, in the past, I mentioned in one of my story times that I had an ex who broke up with me, married somebody else, and then got back together with me and did not tell me that he was married. And I felt like a backup plan. And to this moment, I still felt as if he thought of me as a backup option. And it pisses me off just to think about it. That's a bunch of bullshit. You know what, Radine, you suck. We also seen Rick having a karaoke night with Ramona, and they were they were having a great time, and I love some good karaoke. Me and my siblings, once every couple of months, we go over to my brother's house, who has an amazing studio system karaoke thing set up at his house. We have food and drinks, and we put on a show. We cheer each other on as if we were performing at Madison Square Garden. I mean, this is some real good stuff. Anyway, I think that Rick should really try something with Ramona. Him and Ramona are so compatible. They have so many things in common. I mean, she's already there. They already live together. They share a dog and a cat. I mean, they might as well give it a shot. Radine is still living with her parents, and she says that she is going to stay with her parents until Kay is released from prison, which could be 2024 or 2036. I'm telling you what, if I was Radine's parents, no, you won't. You will not be living here all the way up to possibly 2036 waiting for this girl to get out of jail. I don't think so. Rick has not spoken to Radine, and Rick is still single. I am not shocked. I am shocked that he has not reached out to Radine, and I hope that he continues with that trend. Don't reach out to her because you don't deserve that mess. Lacey and Antoine. So, dear God, Lacey and Antoine go visit his mom's house. She's having a big family dinner, and we meet her boyfriend, his two sisters, and his brother. This man is sitting down, wolfing down his dinner in a coat. Everyone else is sitting there having dinner like civilized humans. He is wearing a coat, scarfing down all of his food, and on his cell phone. The questions got too hot for him. You know, they're asking him, how is it living with your girlfriend for the first time? It's too much. It's too much. He's got to grab his phone and go outside. You know, he's got to text his ladies. He's outside with his mom's boyfriend, and his mom takes the opportunity to pull Lacey to the side to let her know that he's texting his exes. He's texting like 50 different girls every morning, the same text message, good morning, baby. And I'm assuming all of this is going on while Lacey is at work. His mom is talking to Lacey and trying to act as if she cares about their relationship, but I think she absolutely wants to get rid of Lacey. His mom lets her know that Antoine has never been faithful to any girl. She warns Lacey that he is not a good guy. His mom says, and I quote, "He can be a dirtbag, and I don't know how this relationship is going to turn out." Now, when someone's mom calls her own child a dirtbag and then lets you know that he has cheated on every woman that he has ever dated, that is more than a red flag. That is more than a warning. That is an actual neon Vegas style sign that is flashing saying, he ain't shit, run. I'm just saying. So when they leave, it made me giggle a little because everybody was wondering why they had to leave. And he says, well, she's got to work. Okay, I would have loved to hear that both of them have to go to work the next morning. But you know, his work is working her. She tells him what his mom said, that he had been talking to other women and texting other women. And he says, oh, that's clearly a miscommunication. And that's all he wanted to give her. Oh, he doesn't know why his mom would say that. This has been a miscommunication. Boy, this whole relationship is a miscommunication. She asked him, how does he show love? And he had no answer. He doesn't know. And the reason he doesn't know is because he does not love anyone but himself. He doesn't know how to love. He's not mature. He's not responsible. This relationship is ridiculous. Both of them to me are complete idiots. He jumps out the car, takes off his mic, and refuses to film anymore. Meanwhile, she's slunched over in the car like she is about to have a nervous breakdown and cry for the rest of the evening. Then the next day, we see her talking to the production team, and she tells them that she wants to break up, but she doesn't know how to do it because she knows that he's going to be upset and it might cause him to relapse. I don't think so, ma'am. You are not responsible for if this man relapsed or not. What you should have done is drove him back to his mama's house because that's clearly where she wants him and that's where he needs to be. But no, that's not what happened. At the end, we find out that Lacey has purchased a new home. Lacey has purchased a new home, and they are currently expecting a baby in November. Clearly, she is out of her damn mind. You know, I just don't get it. His mom tells her that he is not good for her. She doesn't believe it. I mean, this woman is absolutely giving a masterclass in horrible decisions. You left a stable marriage of 20 years because you said your husband was boring for this. You were smart enough to know not to co-sign or to not put a car in your name, but you weren't smart enough to not get pregnant by this guy. Not the guy who has never had anything in his name, not a car, not an apartment, has never not lived with his mom, has been in and out of jail his entire life, has tattoos on his face. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Let me go on and get knocked up. I don't believe that she wanted to stop filming because she thought Antoine would relapse. I think she was just tired of being embarrassed on national TV. I mean, really? A baby? Girl, let me just tell you this. Having a baby with a man does not guarantee that he will love you properly. It does not guarantee that he is going to be a good father. And it does not guarantee that he is going to marry you and stay with you. What you have done is you have guaranteed that you will have this loser in your life forever. Kevin and Tiffany. So Kevin hasn't spoken to Tiffany since she left about a week ago. And now all of a sudden he realizes that he misses her. He calls her and then he tries to ask her if her phone was broke. Clearly your phone isn't broke either. It works both ways. You could have called her. She wants to know what the hell does he want pretty much. He says that he'd like to have a sit-down conversation with her. But then he gets off the phone and he makes this comment that it's really hard for him to stop talking and seeing other women. That's because you are not mature enough to realize a real relationship. Even his friend tells him. His friend says, well, you moved her into the house. Of course she's going to think that you guys are in a relationship. And of course she's not going to want you talking and texting to other women. You know, she has every right to be upset. Well, I think that she doesn't exactly have every right to be upset. I mean, he was talking to other women and she is at the house, but clearly she was talking to other men too. And she had poor Curtis meet her at the halfway house. Then Tiny Tim knocked his, as he would say, puss ass out. I just cannot believe he says that. Anyway, out in the middle of the street. The poor man was crying. It's just so terrible on national television. Anyway, both of them are made for each other. They are both liars. They are both immature, and they are both not stable. They should not be in a relationship, but hey, if it works, it works. And you and We TV, Love After Lockup people, you guys made it seem like we were about to get a lot of Kayla. We only seen Kayla that one episode. I was hoping that Kayla was going to show up at the restaurant. I was hoping that maybe he might have posted on Facebook where he was, and then she show up there and act the fool, but that didn't happen. Anyway, Tiffany shows up at the restaurant, and somehow this dude is able to finagle a threesome out of her. So both of them are going to try to find a girl that they can bring into their relationship. I said, this is just more dumbness, just more stupidity right here. At the end, he says that they are going to try to work and build on their relationship so that they have a bit of a foundation before they bring in the third person. Honey, if the third person ends up being Kayla, that would really be something. I don't know what Tiny Tim is packing, but it must be lovely. I'm just saying, I don't know why these women are acting a fool. Kevin and Tiffany are still together. However, they have not found their third person yet. And Tiffany, of course, is not speaking to Curtis. And we knew that as soon as she saw him hit the pavement, she was done. He also mentions that he could tell Tiffany everything, and that's one of the reasons he missed her. I said, yeah, right, you can tell her everything except about all your other women, lying ass. And can I also mention, Tiffany was supposed to be paroled to Kevin's house. How does she not have a parole violation? I don't know. Same thing for Harry. Chance and Branwyn. So it has been 4 days since they got married, and they have still not consummated that marriage. And boy, oh boy, is Chaz chomping at the bit. It's his last day there before he has to fly home. And he's not handling the fact that they have not consummated that marriage very well. And all she wants to do is go over to Courtney's house to get her things out of his garage. This man is so insecure. It irritates me so bad. They are in the car and he is whining like a tiny baby man. And he says he needs more kisses. Oh, I just couldn't even. There is no way that I could get sexually ready for a man who whines like this and then says that he needs more kisses. Are you serious? I mean, I ride the thin line. I don't like a man to be too soft, but I don't want him to be a gangster either. But you do have to have gangster tendencies. I can't fool with you. I cannot fool with you. I'm telling you right now, if a man is like Chaz trying to talk to me, I will walk all over him. I am too much for the weak man. And I think that he is bitten off more than he can chew with Branwyn. Show Courtney, which I talked about in my last video. Courtney is the guy that she was supposed to move in with. But he had some alleged drug and legal issues go on. So Love After Lockup needed her to find somewhere else to be. And that's why she's with Jessica's baby daddy. So Chaz tries to pretty much put Courtney in check. And I said, oh, Courtney, first of all, can I just say that tattoo on Courtney's face is worse than the ones that Antoine has on his face. That tattoo just looks stupid and out of place and not called for. Somebody set him up a laser tattoo removal appointment ASAP. That just looks stupid. Anyway, Chaz straight up asked Courtney if he has ever dated Branwyn. And he says no. And he said, well, you text her a lot and, you know, she's my wife. Courtney just comes right out and looks down on little Chaz and says, so until you're secure with yourself, I can't call my friend? I said, oh, wow, wow, wow. I mean, that was a mess. That would hurt. I mean, it did hurt a little. I'm sure that Chaz wanted to just crawl up in a ball and roll the hell out of there. It was just too much. Chaz then says, oh no, I just want you to hold off a little bit. And Courtney says he is not used to Branwyn dating somebody who is so insecure. He says that he's used to Branwyn dating men who are more assertive and more aggressive. and he thinks that Branwyn is about to chew Chad up and spit him out. Branwyn then tells Jessica, her best friend, that Chaz is annoying and he is not like any of the dudes that she has dated before, and that he's extremely jealous. He is insecure AF. Courtney then tells Chad that he's upset that a stranger has just come into his friend's life and is now taking her to Kentucky, and he's really sad about losing his friend. And Chaz says, well, I'm just trying to get her away from this lifestyle. Courtney says, so what you're saying is that I'm trash? And Chaz says, oh no, I'm not saying you're trash. I think that Chaz should have just went on outside and started packing up the car. I mean, listen, if he would have said one more wrong thing, I think Courtney would have yoked him up. Jessica doesn't really want Branwyn to go to Kentucky. She lets Branwyn know that she really needs to learn how to stand on her own 2 feet and take care of herself, and she can do that there or in Kentucky. She also lets her know that she does need to work on her daughter, work on their relationship. And I agree, you can do it either way. Personally, I think that it would be better for her to learn how to stand on her own 2 feet, get herself a job, get her own apartment, get some counseling for her and her daughter, and leave Chaz alone, because Chaz is not prepared for what he is about to get. On their way back from Courtney's house, Chaz brings up that he really would like to have some alone time with his wife. He's hinting around that he's ready to consummate this marriage. And she makes the comment that she thinks that Chaz would feel a lot better if they consummate this marriage. I never thought that Branwyn was attracted to Chaz. I think she's attracted to him being nice, to him giving her stuff, paying for stuff, being emotionally supportive, but she is not attracted to him in a sexual way at all. She mentions that she's not used to having sober sex. She's not used to having sex with emotions. She's used to her and guys getting high and then just having the sex. Her and Chaz laying there together was very awkward. It really was. But she didn't want to have the sex, if you ask me. She put on a performance, honey. I mean, she was crying with no tears. It was, oh, feel sorry for me. I've got to do whatever I need to do to make sure that we are not having the sex. And, it worked. I mean, the whole thing was really cringy. Chaz, he is just too needy. It's annoying. Oh, I hate an insecure man.
No! I'm trying to relax and I can't, and I don't know why. I just want to go home and pack my stuff and go to bed.
I really think that Chaz was really sweet for respecting her wishes and boundaries and not pushing the sex on her. But, it was the fake panic attack and the fake, I want to cry, but I don't have any tears. Chaz eventually drives her back to her apartment, which is exactly what she wanted. Chaz is still back in Kentucky waiting for Branwyn to get approval from her PO to move. I would not be surprised if we found out that she hasn't even requested permission to move. She is still there with her friends and her daughter working on their relationship. I don't know. I would not be surprised if she never moved to Kentucky. Kayla and Martell. So Kayla and Martell are having a welcome to home confinement party at her apartment. I just can't believe that she is still with him. It's ridiculous. His cousin Bobo says that, when you're with somebody, you stick with them through the good and the bad. It's all bad. 13 years of waiting for him to get out of prison, and then he comes home and he's a complete jackass. It's all bad. And that is nothing that I would wish on any woman. Not a friend, not a foe, definitely not my sisters, definitely not somebody that I love. This dude is a complete jackass. Bobo was trying to give Michaela advice. That is a hell to the no. No, ma'am. You don't look like you are qualified to give anybody any relationship advice. It's girl, bye. Kayla is somewhere talking about in the near future she wants to get married and have a baby with him. And at this point, I'm concerned about her mental health. This dude, in the middle of talking to production, he forgets to turn his phone off and he's getting a call from a girl named Anna. Production asked him, who is Anna? And he says, it's nobody that you know. Honey, at the end, we find out that Michaela is still thinking that her and Martell are going to have a baby and get married. And Martell is still on his home confinement, which means he is still not working anywhere. And he is absolutely not ready to get married. Anyway, you guys, get down in the comments and let me know what you think. And until next time, bye.